Mics are going to be live here, guys. Anything to say the stream could hear, just to let you know.
Okay. It's a waterproof bag, right? Oh, Okay, you're a paddle, man.
All right, so welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Doobyis. This is an offshoot of After the Smoke is Clear. After the Smoke is Clear is my weekly mix show where I play independent hip-hop from across Canada. And going into the third season, I decided that what I wanted to do was reach out and talk to more artists and get to learn a little bit about them and their scene, and you know, just start building some relationships, get to know more artists, and kind of half the idea is to help other artists learn about other artists and who they could be working with, and that type of thing too, right? Just build the community that way, because I feel like a lot of people just know their clique. You know, a lot of fans know a few artists from their city, but maybe not, you know, the rest of the scene. And so, you know, without further ado, today I'm talking with Sarafin, who is an MC based out of Calgary. And honestly, I don't know a ton about about you, man. I'm glad that you got to stop through. I've played, I think, two singles from you. I played Kick Rocks, and the new one there, Static, is going to be on a new mix of ATSIC coming up. So yeah, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm just relaxing. I'm currently just floating down the river in Calgary, you know, getting the mind off of things.
Beautiful.
But no,
beautiful.
I wanted to say, man, thanks for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, yeah, it's my pleasure. You know, appreciate you coming through and you know, shedding some light on the scene. It's cool you're out on the Bow River, dude. Most of every other interview has had video, so it's unfortunate that we can't get the video going here. But
I know. I'll send you some clips so you can fill in if you need.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man. Send me some clips. I saw actually earlier on IG, on the drive home from work. I checked your IG and saw you guys were floating, so I was wondering if you'd be out there or if this would even happen. So I appreciate you calling in for it.
Of course, man. I had to make it happen.
Yeah, man. How is the Bow River for floating right now? It's got to be real high.
Oh yeah, the water's high. You don't got to worry about rocks. It's very blessed. You can just enjoy yourself, meditate. You know,
okay, yeah.
Let the river take you.
People might not have heard it if they just started at the beginning of this interview, but you said your friend's tube just popped. What popped their tube if it wasn't a rock?
So yeah, I think when he had to stop to you know take care of something, so we stopped on the side, and yeah, we got caught up in some of the currents and the rapids on the side there, and also, as soon as we got connected on the phone, he's just sinking, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. So no, luckily we got another big tube. Yeah, pretty much.
Dope.
My homegirl Ice is out here from Toronto, and her raft is filled with water. She's thugging it out.
Right on. Toronto on the check-in. Play a ton of music from out in Toronto. You should, you know, ask her who her favorite Toronto-based rapper is if you get a chance to here. But
hey, Ice, who's your favorite Toronto-based rapper?
She gonna say Drake.
Yeah. Who?
Tona? Yeah, Tona's dope. I play Tona's music all the time. Nice, yeah. Shouts to Tona. But yeah, man, let's get into it. So your new single, Static there, real mellow vibes, kind of nice follow-up to the vibes that you had with your last few singles there. I got a chance to dig into your catalog a little bit, and it looks like you've been doing singles for a while now. It's been a few years worth of singles, eh?
Yeah, man. The single game is good for me, just because I feel like I'm working on a project right now, but it's more or less like my life's work. So I'm just trying to test markets with singles, and yeah, just build and grow a fan base. Try different demographics with each one. So it's been interesting, fun, and a lot of learning going into it.
Hell yeah. So where did the journey start for you? Like, why'd you decide to start making music, or where'd you decide to start making music maybe?
Well, I'm born and raised Calgary. Music kind of was in my family. My grandma does like country and bluegrass, and she'd always bring me to the shows. My parents always had music playing in the crib, so I was just around it and just found myself wanting to create. Before I knew it, I was like memorizing way too many lyrics. Even to this day, my friends are like, "How do you know so many lyrics?" And it's just, I don't know, it's just something that I picked up. So once I knew so many lyrics, I was like, well, I could probably do this. And
Yeah.
it just went from poetry to writing to beats. And my brother actually produced a beat. He was like trying out beats one time, and the only thing he ever did, but he sent it to me. I wrote to it, and that was kind of like the beginning for me. And then growing up, I had a homie that was like the first person to ever believe in me. He told me to never give up when I was going to high school, and a lot of people were clowning me for making music. So it really resonated, and I knew out there in the world that like my people were out there, you know. So
Hell yeah.
unfortunately, we lost him. He got murdered.
Oh shit. Rest in peace.
In the late 2000s. Yeah, rest in peace, Cliff. But just that whole experience really taught me a lot about, you know, support, community, friendship. Changed my values for sure.
Hell yeah.
So man. I really started taking them more serious and more of a growing nature to music. I just wanted to use it as a tool of expression, and it really just changed my approach to life. So I left Calgary at 19 and just pursued it from there.
Nice. So you said you left Calgary. Where are you based out of now?
I'm back in Calgary. I moved back. I moved to Vancouver at 19, and then we got hired to go on tour with Raekwon.
Nice.
Back in 2012. So we toured Canada, and once we stopped on the East Coast, it was like, I know I'm born in Calgary and I'm Vancouver or whatever, but I'm like, I need to be out here. So shortly after the tour, we made moves to move out to Toronto. I was signed to a label at the time that was with Masters of Ceremony.
Okay. So 2010, that would have been around when Raekwon was up here trying to do the whole like ice water North or whatever it was. Yeah, with JD
exactly.
Shit, right? Yeah, okay. Dope, man. So you got a chance then to travel across the entire country, do shows cities across the country?
Yeah, it was a 12-stop tour. It's really something else, man. We even had a little 1991 Ford City bus that we turned into a tour bus, and it was just a jam. We chopped it up with Ray. It was great. It was a humbling experience. You realize, like, from the outside looking in to the industry, that we're all just human.
Did Ray give any gems you can pass along, man?
honestly, it's just about being real. Just be real, authentic, and just be you. Hell yeah. Know what you're doing and mean what you do. Because when I met Ray, it was our first stop. We pulled up to Denny's after the show, and he was coincidentally getting up and going back to the hotel. And I just walked up to him, introduced ourselves on behalf of the crew that I was with, and I just paid respect. I'm like, I just want to show love and pay homage to you for everything you've done in hip hop, and it's a real honor to be rocking this tour with you, dude. So that's always been my thing, is paying respect to the ones before me.
I won't lie, I'm jealous. I start every episode of ATSIC with a Wu-Tang song. I try to play, something new that they put out, just because the same way, you got to pay homage to the guys that started this whole thing, and well, not necessarily started, but who got it where it's at. So much respect for Wu-Tang.
Pioneers, man.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, they're pioneers, Doug.
Yeah, so it's important, I think, for MCs to look back, and I can hear that in the way you approach, songwriting. I think that you can hear those kind of boom bap roots, and that you do pay respect to the traditions of hip hop. I think, which is why you're right at home being played on ATSIC. That's the music I look for. Yeah. So. Yeah, dude.
I appreciate you acknowledging that and seeing that, man.
Hell yeah, man. I'm looking forward to hearing what you got coming next. Like you mentioned, you're working on a project. What's the process for that look like? Are you gathering beats from various producers? Are you working with one person, or how's it looking? I'm
kind of just clicking up with my people. It's like I got the brotherhood with tunes, and my homie L that runs the label 399.
Nice.
So I usually just chop it up with them, and it's always authentic vibes. So
yeah, Brotherhood is good people.
My own stuff.
Yeah, man. I've been talking to him a little bit too about getting some Calgary-based producer who goes by the name Brotherhood. Yeah, so shouts to that guy too. Yeah. But yeah, all right, man. Dude, so I got a bunch of questions that I like to ask people that are just kind of general and see where the artist takes it. But if you could, can you describe the Calgary hip hop scene for me? Like you mentioned that when you were coming up in high school, you know, people were telling you don't make music, or you're you know, getting shit from guys in school about making music or whatever.
It's just
Is that Calgary, or is that what is that?
I think it's anywhere. That's just school, right?
Sure.
I had a group of girls calling me pretend to be Def Jam, and they wanted to fly me out to New York and shit. It was weird. So I nipped that as soon as I figured it out. Yeah, I figured it out and like nipped that in the butt. But yeah, when it comes to Calgary, I think that we're on a really good trajectory. The scene is growing. A lot of people they got their eyes on Calgary. There's a lot of infrastructure going into the city and the entertainment district. So eyes are on Calgary next. I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it a lot.
Lots of talent coming out of there.
You know, Totally. When I came back, I made it my thing to like connect with as many artists as possible. So I hosted a backyard barbecue, and I brought my studio set up in the back.
Nice.
Was producing, had jerk chicken on the barbecue. My parents had a pool, so it was just a vibe. But it was for me to like have to meet all these different artists that I haven't met before, see where the city's at, because it was that conversation of being like, if you want to compete or you want to be something in the city, you got to be willing to go bar for bar with the best in the city. And that's not like competing your records, but that's more or less like going on the same track in the community, being like, who has the best verse.
Sure. So you come at it with a pretty competitive aspect while building that community then, hey?
Yes and no. For me, it's more or less about like branding yourself.
Was that a splash? Everybody good?
Hold on. I'm getting back
up. Wildest interview of all time. You good? Your phone's dry.
Man lost his sandals.
Shit.
But yeah, I would look at it. It's just about educating the artist.
Okay. So as far as making sure that the people who are doing it are kind of in touch with the roots, like you were talking about, for me, that's kind of an aspect that I like to enforce into people, is that if you're going to do this thing, you should, you know, do a little bit of homework, figure out some of the backstory to it, introduce yourself into the culture a little bit or whatever. Right. And otherwise, you know, otherwise maybe it's a culture vulture or whatever, kind of just looking to make money off of it type thing. How, actually on that note, what kind of aspirations do you have for this? I know that some artists go into making music, you know, with it being a business venture, in a way, as much as it is an artistic venture. How important does money factor into your creative motivation, I guess?
I don't let money run my life, man. You can get money back. Time is the most important thing, I believe. So you're spending the time, not pressing yourself to make money, but be smart about it and see yourself as like a small business, you know?
Yeah, word.
Money will change you.
I mean, even for artists who say that it's not important, you know, if you want to have anybody hear your music, you got to look at it a little bit like a business, for sure. I just like, you know, hearing where people are on that balance as far as, you know, how promotional minded they are. Like, do you? Yeah,
you got to put your money up.
Okay, so you're pushing it to a wider audience through paid promotion then? Is that the game plan?
Yeah, well, I would say it's about targeting an audience for your music and your brand. So not just dumping money and thinking that like a guy messaging you on Instagram is going to be your be all end all.
Yeah.
For a $20 playlist submission. But actually doing the research, pulling data and measuring that data and making your next move, kind of treating it like a game of Battlefield.
Yeah, word. I mean, honestly, I could tell that you are kind of community minded, but still have the mentality to be networking and out there promoting yourself, because you know, I pay attention to which artists reach out to me, which artists I've got to tap to get their music or whatever, to pester people to get them to do interviews, and which guys kind of reach out to me saying like, hey, I've got new music out, check this out, do you want to talk? You know, and because it is a two-way street, right? And so it's nice when you have artists who actually are invested enough to even to check their social media when it dings, right? Like when I message them, there's a lot of those that just go unnoticed, and I don't know if that's, you know, any slight or anything. I don't take it that way. I just assume that dude's not looking at his phone or doesn't use social media that way. But you know, that's another thing I like to ask people is like, how engaged on social media are you? Like, do you try to use that regularly? There's all these tutorials telling us, you know, you got to do this, that, and the other thing if you want to get engagement, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I know I got to be a lot better at my social media game, but I also don't try to, like, the TikTok world and the Instagram world, it's got a fascinating role about it, where it's like overnight success or getting popular off of, you know, a few hits and making something that catches, you know? So I'm more of a guy of consistency, and when it comes to social media, like having a proper plan and structure is important to me. So I don't try to flood my timeline or my page with a bunch of random stuff. I just try to keep it relevant to my brand and my business.
Music related for sure.
Telling my story. And sorry, before I fell in the water, I was trying to tell you that I put together a project called Summer Sessions.
Okay.
And that's on like Spotify and all that. So it's a compilation with like over 8 or 9 different Alberta artists as a result from that backyard party that I was throwing.
Yeah, I actually found that project and listened to a few of the tracks on there. I noticed you had like Z the Free on there. She is kind of big on some of the cypher scenes in Calgary. I've heard her name thrown around a lot when I ask people what's popping in Calgary, who's popping in Calgary. I don't know who else did you have on there? Was Rubik's on there?
Rubik's was there, but I have like a bunch of tracks that didn't make the cut.
I feel like you showed Rubik's out on the intro or something.
Yeah. I'm like, that's coming out. Everybody, shout out to Rubik's for his puzzles or something.
Yeah. That was the line. Yeah, word. But yeah, I liked that project. I listened to that while I was working today. Apologies. Most days when I do these interviews, I've been sitting at home kind of like thinking about what I might ask somebody or whatever. Today I was on a 30-foot ladder cooking my brain in the heat all day. So I got home a half hour ago and was like, all right, let's get to it. But I appreciate you being chill. I wish I was out on a river too right now, man. That would have been a much better day.
Come on, man. This is us connecting, man. So it's all love. It's all good. There's no obligation to anything. We're talking, having dope conversation.
Hell yeah, appreciate it, man. Dude, one thing that I do ask artists is like, so in 2022, a lot of people look at me crazy when I tell them that I buy singles. Sorry, my stream's messing with me, shooting off air horns and shit. But a lot of people think that, you know, I sound crazy telling them I spend $50 some weeks on just buying music, but it's because to play it on radio, like, and my show plays on FM radio, it's also a podcast, but you got to own it. So, you know, I spend that money and I do it to support, right? But a lot of people kind of look at me like, you buy music, but why don't you just stream it? Like, so I ask all the artists that I talk to, like, do you buy music? Do you know people who buy music? Like,
yeah, I think I'll buy vinyls. I definitely buy vinyls and know that like the value of vinyls as a physical thing is really important, especially in the music world. but yeah, I'm not the biggest. Like I've bought a few tracks from my homies on Bandcamp Fridays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's not my go-to. I love that idea of that you're allocating money towards that. That's a great way to give back.
Yeah,
and
so
it definitely helps out the artist.
But it's totally not the only way, and it's probably not even the most effective way to help artists at this point, because giving somebody 99 cents it's cool and all, but I feel like a lot of what helps is building that social kind of credit. And I was talking to a guy today about like somebody on Instagram who had a bunch of plays, and he said, like, so do they make money off Instagram when they have that many plays on there, like that many plays on a video? And I said, like, I don't really think so. I think they're just building like credit so that they can get more gigs that might pay the money off of that. So I think it's building that type of credit that goes a long way, is just like, whether it's likes or shares or all that stuff that everybody's always telling everybody to do, follow and all that stuff. And I guess, like, I like to ask people, like, what do you think is the best way to support artists in this climate where that is the situation?
Yeah, I think it's just to have those minions out there that are sharing, talking about your music, those music lovers. But again, it comes down to is the artist relatable? There's a lot of artists nowadays are making music that's a replication of their favorite musicians, but not true to their lifestyle.
Hey, I like that. Let's go off of that, man. I would agree with you wholeheartedly that a lot of artists are faking the funk or whatever. They're trying to do the fake it till you make it thing. And to me, man, like, I listen to 4 hours of, I joke about how I struggle rap every week, just trying to find new stuff to play on ATSIC. So, like, I listen to a lot of guys who I know damn well don't have the money that they're rapping about, rap about the money and rap about, the drugs they're selling or the guns they're shooting. And I'm just like, dude, you're in Canada. Like, we would hear about it if y'all were squeezing off AKs, like,
yeah, no, exactly.
I mean,
that's been like, it's been a big part, right? And that's what hip hop is. Like, hip hop, what I learned was, like, if you're not real, they can smell it. Like, the OGs, the hip hop heads, they can smell it from a mile away.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. So, like, sticking true to your actual life, but doing it in a way that's still dramatic enough to be entertaining and engaging with other people, I think is a real art. And I dig it, man. I see you doing it. I see a bunch of different artists doing it. And there's totally a way to do it that you can still be making hip hop without having that kind of the cliched image that people are coming to associate with the mainstream or whatever, right?
I think
man.
It's very generic.
Yeah, totally cookie cutter stuff, right? And I think that you're right in saying, when I asked what Raekwon jewels you could pass along, and you said just be true to yourself. I think that that's honestly the biggest thing, and it's, you hear that tip so much for artists or whatever, but I think it really is real. Like, if I can't tell an artist's voice apart on a track, I'm not really interested in checking out more of that artist's work, like
exactly. It's like, if your brand is your promise, and your promise is, like, I have an artist that I record and been mentoring, named Ben Ugly. He's got a very distinctive voice, so anytime you hear him on a record, you're not going, who's that? If you heard him before, you're going, oh shit, that's Ben Ugly, tight.
Did you engineer for his new single Cuckoo? I heard that one the other day.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you run a studio, or what's your recording setup look like?
Yeah, I run a recording studio. I produce, record, and mix. Don't do any mastering. I got myself a little vocal booth, running the Apollo. Got a warm 87, I believe, for the mic.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't mean to put you out there if you don't want to be, but if there are artists in Calgary who are looking for studio time, do you actively record whoever wants to come in, kind of thing?
I'm always working with different people, and I'm always about the vibes. If the vibes are right, like,
Dope.
I have no problem working with people, but
Hell yeah.
I'm all about adding value.
So I also like to ask people too, like, what other artists locally can we shout out here that I don't know, that I might not be up on, or that people watching might not be up on from the Calgary scene?
Oh, shit! Have you heard of Young Papi Benito?
I have, but definitely an artist I enjoy. Yeah. Your first feature was on one of his tracks or something, right? You guys were working together quite a while back, I think.
Yeah, I met him at a Beat of the Week when that was happening in Calgary, and we bonded over a few of the jams, and we had a similar mind state when it came to how things were going there. So we definitely just clicked and kind of became a powerhouse. He was one of the first artists I started recording and producing for in Calgary.
That's dope, man. Any other names spring to mind?
Oh, of course, T Fanny, K Riz. I know you know those guys.
Yeah.
Ben Ugly. Got my homie Nick Lee. He runs a podcast.
Nick Lee. What's the name of Nick Lee's podcast? Is it like a hip hop podcast?
It's more of an entrepreneurial podcast. I believe it's called The Process.
Okay.
I can link you with the information on that. It's a really good, good conversation.
Always looking for more voices in the story, man.
Yeah, man. Half Cut, Kid T. Like I said, I'm probably missing a ton and you get shit on for it, but there's a lot of talent in the city.
Kid T is a name I don't recognize, so I'll have to check his stuff out.
This guy's a sicko with the camera. Like he's been doing a lot of video work, cinematography, and photography. He's insane behind the lens.
Did you do a video for Static?
No, we're thinking about it. We might just do one of those color type videos, like just live performance video.
Okay. So you were talking about how like you're happy doing a string of singles, and I think, you know, a lot of artists are these days, and like that's kind of the wave right now is that string of singles. I wanted to just kind of pick your brain, like because you mentioned, you know, that you want to let this one breathe. When I was talking to you earlier, you said you wanted to let Static breathe a little bit more before you announce the next one. So I wanted to ask, just kind of what's the thought process like? Like, how long do you try to aim for between singles, or does it depend on the response, or how do you determine that?
Yeah, I really determine it on giving. I give like a different, every week I'll do a different type of promo. So say maybe one week is one platform, the next week's another, and giving space and time for the week of interviews. Like this is my second interview this week.
Nice.
You know, it's just about continuing and keeping it relevant.
Hell yeah.
That's just the biggest thing for me. So, and then anytime I'm releasing a track, you'll never see me like dropping a track the next day after I finish it. You know, it's the process that I take pride in, and making sure that things are accounted for and everything's registered properly. And, you know, my team, 399 and our distro, they're handling everything. We don't use TuneCore or like DistroKid and all that. Right. We have relationships with our distribution. So
that's
we're
beautiful.
strategizing when we're releasing, and yeah, we're just playing it smart as a team.
Nice. And so do you have any kind of goal set as when you'd like to release that album, or like when you'd like to even get to the album as opposed to working on these singles?
Well, it's these singles are part of the project. So you're going to see a few of these on the project. So it is in the works.
It's coming together. Okay.
It's just a matter of, like I've been filming a little bit too, to kind of give a little behind the scenes of the journey. So it's a little bit of a treat for everyone.
Right on, man. How often do you write? I feel like just listening to you sound like a pretty well practiced lyricist. And then when I looked at your catalog, I was like, this dude must have written a lot more than this many songs.
Oh yeah, man. I have a huge catalog of music, and a lot of my stuff, believe it or not, doesn't come from writing. It comes from improv and freestyling. Just the core to me of hip hop.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that, man.
I'll put on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the process look like then? Do you put on a beat and freestyle it and kind of do some edits afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let the instrumental kind of just tell me what it wants, and then my imagination and my creativity will kind of pull me into like who would sound best on the song. You know, you could think like Young Thug or The Baby or The Weeknd or Drake.
Yeah.
Whoever you hear resonating on that beat. And then I just start top lining, start freestyling, coming up with melodies. Oh shit. I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
Lay it down, let it go, record a few takes of freestyle, chop it up, listen to it for like a week or two, rewrite it, come back, re-record it, relax.
Nice. So
and that's kind of just like, that's just the process of like, I've been freestyling, recording on my phone since I was like 14. So
damn.
I'm 31 now.
Yeah, so
So
I know
repetition.
Just judging from that summer sessions project, like you must be fairly connected kind of with the cypher scene in Calgary, and from what you just said about freestyling being to you the main element, the main important part kind of being an MC. I know guys from both sides of from both camps who think that like freestyling is the most important thing, and that, you know, real MCs freestyle, and like to go on the radio and read your bars off of a phone would be shameful or whatever, right? And then there's the other camp who are kind of like, nah, I'm just out here to like write a song and make it sound the way I want to do it, and you know,
tell a story,
and tell their story that way. And you know, I've had guys tell me that they get their fulfillment from the studio more than, you know, the stage or from, you know, a cipher somewhere. Where do you get most gratification back?
I feel that, you know, in regards to music and creating, it's just the process of being like, I can release and express myself, and this is how it gets out. So working with all the artists in Calgary and the Cypher Club. Like Cypher Club is definitely what Z has done, is create a community where people can connect and get vulnerable, you know, and just
and push each other too, right? Being around artists is inspiration. So a community like that's so important.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Totally. And that it's interesting because when I came back to Calgary from Toronto in 2018, I was very high off of my time in Montreal and Toronto. Montreal specifically, they had this place called Osgang Plaza that had a venue up top, and then downstairs they got the kitchen and probably about like 20 rooms that producers or engineers lease on a like
nice
3 to 6 month deal. And
real artist like community. Yeah,
like I was there in May, and the homie across the street across the hall was interviewing Skepta for a podcast.
Dope.
And I'm like, this is crazy. You never know who you can meet, and that's what I miss about out east, is that it's just like you can walk outside and meet somebody and, you know, grow.
Yeah.
Exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Like coming from trying to make it in a place like Calgary, you get the advantage of having maybe less competition to stand out from. But again, like you said, there's just less community to work with, and I feel like it's probably you lose a lot of opportunities that might just pop up, or, you know, the people in busier centers or more active hip hop communities might just kind of get some of those opportunities that land in their lap as a result of, you know, who's across the way recording or who knows who or whatever else.
Yeah.
Well,
this industry and this game is a lot about who you know and the relationships, man.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's something I've told a lot of upcoming MCs is like everybody thinks that they're going to make one song and kind of, you know, if they make that song the right way, that's gonna be the one that does it for them or whatever. And it's like, I mean, maybe, maybe you can make a song that good, but like
super wishful thinking, man.
Totally.
And, you know, the artists that can't or won't or creatively won't come up with a budget to push their single.
Yeah.
It just comes down to that, like,
dedication.
Everybody wants, well, yeah, and then those same guys will be being like, put me on. But you put that money, if you don't want to pay, you're going to have to know somebody. And then when you meet somebody, you're going to want to add value to them. So you're going to end up paying anyways.
Hell yeah. Dude, you know, talking about paying to open or whatever, like to get in like that, like some guys do that. Where are you at?
You gotta, man. You gotta pay to play in this game. You gotta pay to play.
Yeah.
Anyone telling you different is out of their mind.
Okay. I mean, honestly, you're the first guy expressing that on ATSIC. I see what you're saying, man. Like, to get your music to a wider base, the best way to do it is definitely to jump in front of recognized artists on stage and you know, be up there opening. Have you done that quite regularly? Like, are you opening for people when they come through Calgary?
I had the honor of doing a set with T Fanny when Princess Nokia came for Sled Island.
Nice.
And that was amazing.
Yeah, Sled Island, stuff like that. That's big opportunities, man.
Totally. And for me, man, I'm grateful to touch those stages, but I'm not in a thirst hunt. Like, I'm not thirsty to get on these stages and let everyone know my name. You know, I'm more like, my record's going to stay pumping for life. Because that's just the way I feel about the music I'm making. It's like timeless music.
So when you talk about
not a one-off that you're going to...
You don't necessarily need to jump on stage and have everybody know your name. Do you mean kind of like, do you see yourself involved in music in a more behind the scenes way generally? Or
a little bit, like right now, yeah, because I'm still learning until that moment comes where I got my album and it's ready and it's my time. Then it doesn't really make too much sense for me.
Yeah.
Because I've been performing, doing this for over 16 years. I was living in Vancouver for many times, the tour, and then living in Toronto. Done many of my own shows, so I'm well versed. I don't need the experience to get up on stage, you know. So when it comes down to it, I want to do a show that's properly branded, transforming of the space.
See, that's kind of the dangerous thing when you get openers paying to open, and that's kind of the sentiment that I've heard expressed a little more often, and why I was a little bit taken aback when you said, you know, you got to pay to play. I think it's good, like, when promoters find guys like who are actually talented, who are willing to fill those spots. But you get a lot of guys who just, you know, are putting on shows where anybody who can come up with the $500 or whatever, sell the 50 tickets is going to open. So you get a lot of, you know, shows with 10 openers and nobody knows any of them, and half of them have no business on stage and stuff, right?
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That right there is a problem, my friend, because when we talk about pay to play, I'm talking about, like, I just paid for UK radio rotation, like, or PR, sorry, out there.
Right.
And it's not a promise, but paying someone for their time to work the record,
right,
service the record.
Hell yeah.
That's me paying to play. That's me paying to play on those radio stations.
Sure.
Not to give to some nobody that just messaged me on Instagram, scamming me for $70.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's building relationships with people. It's getting offered a tour and having to pay for that tour, or, you know, those things matter.
No, but then
when it comes to the local scene, if you don't mind, I'll finish on this.
Yeah.
When it comes to the local scene, the only problem I've had is promoters not wanting to promote.
Hey.
So if I'm an artist and you're coming to me to open up your event and you're telling me to sell tickets, I'm a entertainer. I'm not a
Preach.
promoter. You're the promoter. So
Hell yeah.
if you're gonna ask me to sell tickets for you, please provide me with the resources or the tools to get these tickets out there. And I'm not saying print off the tickets and hand them to me. I'm saying, what Google ads, what kind of marketing are you doing? Get me into that.
Sure.
Provide me with tools, but they're not doing that.
Yeah. So you sound really business savvy, man. Are you actually like in charge at Free 99? Like, is that your label, or what's the structure of Free 99 like?
L's running that. I'm doing I'm helping as much as I can in that regard. Right now it's just finding my place in it all. There's been talks, and we'll see where it leads.
Nice.
Right now I'm just trying to gain equity with the records that I'm making, and finding artists that have dope music that we can service. So
hell yeah,
playing
man.
a little bit of a A&R, but not getting caught up in it, and just trying to help artists genuinely.
Right on, man. I mean, I think you're doing a good job. I think, just checking in for interviews like this. You said it's the second one you've done this week. That's how we build these communities, and that's how we support each other. So once again, man, I appreciate you doing this. I guess before I let you go, I should ask, is there anything coming up to promote? Do you have shows coming up, or anything else?
This Wednesday, tomorrow, I'll be at the Prairie Outlier Tent at Prairie Emporium in Calgary.
Nice.
Performing with T Fanny and Ice the One. Stay glued into the Instagram, Sarafin Music. I'm gonna be trying to do more freestyles on my TikTok, specifically just freestyles for TikTok.
Nice.
And artists out there, if you're looking for beats, if you're looking to get a record mixed or to record, hit me up on Instagram. Send me some stuff. Vibe. Let's
hell yeah.
Figure out what works and go from there.
Right on, man. Well, I thank you again for doing this, and I'll let you go. Enjoy the river. Is it busy out there with Stampede in town? I bet there's all sorts of people out floating.
It wasn't too bad, to be honest.
Yeah, nice.
We just got out. Yeah, nice. We just got out after we spilled, So dry now. I'm gonna head back. Got rehearsals tonight. Probably hit up the studio.
Beautiful.
Make some jams.
Sounds like a great night, man. I hope you have a good one, and I'll check out on that.
My brother, thank you so much for having me, and keep doing God's work with this stuff. Artists need people like you. God bless, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We need artists like you as well. So yeah, thanks, dude. Peace.
Yeah. I'm trying to build more mini-me's.
Right? I mean, I just looked around and was like, you know what? I wish other people would have, been trying to do stuff like this when I was trying to push my music harder. And I wish there were more outlets that did stuff like this. So I just started doing it. CKXU asked me, they said, we don't have a hip hop show. Do you want to run one? And I said, I mean, yeah, I know too many artists not to. So, and since then I've met 3 times that many artists. So here we are,
There you go, man.
Hell yeah, man.
Keep at it, man.
Yeah,
Thank
dude.
you.
Thanks. Thank you. Have a good one.
No worries. You too. Take care.
Peace. Alrighty. Well, that was that. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. P of the K, if you're still here, I can talk now. So Sarafin wasn't on video because he was floating down the Bow River. If you go check out Sarafin Music on Instagram, I think it's at Sarafin Music. You can see him on his IG story floating down the Bow River. So that was an interesting interview. Somebody almost drowned right at the start of it as their inner tube popped as the call started. And, we just rolled with it. We made that work. Sorry that you didn't have somebody prettier than just me on screen to look at. But if anybody doesn't know this stuff, this right here is where you can find After the Smoke is Clear, my mix show. Which direction am I pointing now? Over to the right of me there, or left of your screen, I guess. Actually, mixcloud.com/Doobyis is where you can listen for free. If you're in Southern Alberta, the show plays on 88.3 FM, CKXU, Monday nights at 9, Thursday nights at 11. And yeah, I'm here Tuesday afternoons doing these interviews and putting together new episodes of After the Smoke is Clear. I think maybe I'll fire up a stream in a little bit here once I get some food in me and come back to work on the next episode of After the Smoke is Clear, because last night I bought $50 worth of new music for that. So appreciate y'all for being here. And here, I'm going to play Sarafin's track Static one more time on the way out.